Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Look at that for a view. Oh my goodness, the kind of view that takes your breath away. But today we've come to take a look at this. Not the newest car in the world, no, 2012 it was registered in downtown Cyprus. And you know what? I think it's a very, very sensible, practical and economical car. And it could be that perfect car if you are looking for a runabout wherever you may be in the world, because this car is less than 4.5 meters long, so it parks in most parking bays, even on those narrower streets, but yet it will carry 5 people in comfort, and there's even a lot of room in the back. Come and have a look. This, I think, is one of its greatest features, and it's reminiscent of a Range Rover full fat. Why is that? Nice hatch that you can lift your things in and out of, but it's got this little trick right up its sleeve. Look at that. You can sit there, perhaps if you want to go to the beach, take off your shoes, get your swimming wear and get dressed. And of course, when you've finished, you can come back on here, sit on the edge, perhaps sup on a pint or two and enjoy the views, but more likely get yourself nice and clean and get yourself changed without having to stand on the dirt or the sand. And then of course you can close it all back up and get back into your car and go back home feeling refreshed because you have been for a swim in that, which of course is the blue Mediterranean Sea. Now the back end of it, very, very SUV-ish, shall we say. I think it's quite good looking from the back. I do like the detail in the lights. And remember, this is a car from 2012, but it's got LED little lights in the back, and at night they do look very, very nice indeed. There's the synonymous with Peugeot, the Lion. They've rebranded it a bit now and they made it a bit more flashy, but I do think that that is an iconic symbol. It takes you back to the 60s and the 70s when Peugeot were really at the top of their game. And this is one of the Peugeots that brought them from the doldrums of the 80s and the early 90s. And they came up with this car, and this car sold like hotcakes all over the world. It did indeed. Very, very successful in Europe. And why was one of those reasons? Because they gave it a 5-year warranty, because they had a bit of faith in their mechanics and their design. And you know what? This car relaunched Peugeot and they have reincarnated it again, and they've gone on to bigger things with this style of car. It's sort of an SUV and sort of an MPV. And of course that's what people want today, because they want to cross that verge between carrying things, comfort, and that jacked up ride height a little bit. Let's have a look in the back, because the back again is pretty big. If we get in, it's very, very easy because the doors open quite wide, and of course it's got that height to allow you to get in. Now that seat is in the position of a person who is 6'2", who likes to sit well back in the car. And as we can see, I'm just under 6 foot. I've still got plenty of legroom and I've got plenty of headroom as well. And this has actually got a panoramic sunroof, and the sun blade is closed to try and keep it that little bit cooler. Practical colour, nice design on the trim by the way, and nice little softness on the doors as well. I do think it's a very comfortable, very practical car. If you're going to carry 4 people in comfort, no problem. Certainly you can carry 5 on those shorter journeys, but more often than not, this car will be used by a couple and perhaps a couple of littlies, or more likely a couple and their dog. And again, very, very easy to get in and out of, as you can see. And it's got quite a good sound when the door's shut as well. Testament to Peugeot and their new beliefs in reincarnating that they want to be a premium brand. So slowly but surely they are achieving it. Again, very, very wide door opening as you get in, no problems whatsoever. And I do think that for a 2012 car, this is quite a futuristic dashboard, and the quality of it is very, very good. All this is soft touch. This is slightly soft touch with a nice bit of a grain on it. On the door card, what have you got? A very good bin, by the way. It is absolutely huge. You can put your hand all the way into it. The only criticism I've got of it, that it's not lined with felt, but of course that's something that you could do to stop things rattling around. Very simple. Close the door, there we go. Nice big shunt, nice place to rest your arm. Huge wing mirrors on either side, so you've got great vision. And I do believe that this is a very, very sensible and very, very practical car. Because of course today, the speed cameras, there's boys and girls in blue waiting for us literally everywhere in the world. So you can't really be hustling it along. This car is designed to carry 4 people in comfort at a leisurely pace, nice and comfortable, and there's plenty of play in the suspension to, shall we say, smooth out those inhalations. As we come round to the front of it, I think that this is perhaps the part of the car that lets it down. It looks that little bit too MPV-ish, but of course, as time has gone on, they gave it a facelift in late 2015, made it look a little bit more stylish, and of course the new version, the 3rd incarnation of it now, is like a futuristic car from the, well, Star Wars era, shall we say. So perhaps go and have a look at that one. And of course now they do plug-in hybrids and of course fully electric ones as well. Talking about the lights again, this has become a very thing on cars today, the jewellery, isn't it? And we can see there's quite a lot of shine and reflectors in there and quite a lot of design. And I think it's quite nice, even on a car from 2012. We could see that Peugeot in their design studios was certainly thinking of the future and trying to make their car look that a little bit more bling, because of course that's what a lot of people like on a car today. As we come round to this side, I do think that its side profile is probably its best view, because it certainly looks like a 4-wheel drive, or that impression, shall we say. This one's only a 2-wheel drive, by the way, front wheel drive, 1.6 TDI diesel engine. And what does that mean? Well, that means it's very, very torquey, and of course it's very, very fuel efficient. As we get back into the driver's seat, set up for me, again, I think that this is a great driving position. Some of the 4-wheel drives, if you want to go full fat, that is, you literally have to climb up into them. This one, you literally get in and you literally get out, and it literally is perfect, especially as you start to get that little bit older, because the legs and the hips do start to ache that little bit. Great driving position. I think the steering wheel is very, very good. More modern cars, of course, have buttons here, there and everywhere. Sometimes that is a plus and sometimes that is a negative. Everything is in very, very close proximity. If we start her up, we get to see the dashboard. Very simple, very conventional. We have the rev counter and of course the speedometer and various warning lights that come on. Very clear and very, very concise indeed. And this car is currently running at 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres. So that's around about 45 mpg. And bear in mind, most of the time, this car is driving in and around a small city or a large town, whichever way you want to look at it. You've got good air conditioning. You've got a simple old-fashioned stereo with a CD, and you've got all these kind of controls. And I think that the greatest addition to road safety is this little item, which is the head-up display. You probably can't see it on camera, but you are able to adjust the height of the information that it's giving you. You're able to adjust the brightness of it. And of course, if you don't like it, you're able to get rid of it. So some people don't like it. I'm a lover of it. As it comes back up, but of course the information, the most important information in the world, which of course is the speed, is right in front of you. So you haven't got to take your eyes off the road, and you haven't even got to look at these dials. You look straight at that and you know if you are speeding or not. Now, this is a 6-speed automatic dual clutch gearbox, not the best gearbox in the world. And this is the Achilles heel on this car. So make sure, if you're going to buy one secondhand, that the gearbox has been serviced, and make sure it's not too lurchy. They always lurch and they always seem sluggish. So that's a word of warning. But if you drive it with care and respect, to be honest, you don't even notice it. It just smoothly transitions between the gears. If you wish to hustle, you do have little flappy paddles behind the gear to go up and down, if you want to get that little bit more involved, shall we say. Steering wheel, it is fully telescopic, by the way. Let's have a quick look and show you how it actually works. It'll go in, it'll come out, it'll go up and it'll go down. And to be honest, most people can find a very, very comfortable position indeed. As for the seats, very comfortable seats in French cars, in particular in Peugeots, I think. We've got a very, very swift and smooth operation for the descent, shall we say. That's all the way down if you want to get that little bit up close and personal, or perhaps if you want to have that little bit more of a commanding driving position, or if you're that little bit smaller. The seat will go up all the way, but yet you still retain an awful lot of vision and headroom, shall we say. Nice big mirror, not too big. Some of these mirrors on these cars are huge, aren't they? But you can see straight out the rear window, and the rear window, to be honest, has got a great view indeed. The only downside to any car in the world is these A-pillars, which are quite thick these days, and of course they're designed to keep you alive in an accident, and of course the rear pillars are quite thick as well. But this is a common situation on all of these kind of cars and all modern cars today, because it's designed to make sure that that roof doesn't come down and crush it. I think it's a really good car. Nice and modern looking. Remember, this car is 13 years old. Very futuristic design. A little bit like an aircraft cockpit, I think. Very nice indeed. Very simple controls, like I was saying. And there's the automatic gearbox. You've got an automatic handbrake that locks on, and of course it helps you when you're on those hill starts. You've got two decent full-size cup holders, and you've actually got this huge compartment. And if you watch my hand now, it can go all the way down and all the way into there, and it's actually chilled as well from the aircon. So if you've got a can of Coke or something, great place to put it. This car obviously has a 12-volt charger, but of course all you've got to do is go and get yourself one of these, pop it in, and of course you can charge up all of your modern connectivity, whether it be a smartphone or a laptop or whatever it may be. Absolutely fantastic car, and very simple air conditioning units, as we can see, up to the face and to the feet, all on auto. And it's a good little air conditioning system, and it does keep you very chilled, even in a country like Cyprus where the temperatures in the summer can range at about 40 degrees. So I believe that the Peugeot 3008 is a very sensible, very practical, very reliable, and on top of all that, a very economical car to run. If you want to road tax this car, we're only ever going to talk about Cyprus, where we live. The road tax on this car is 60 euros per year. Fuel economy, like I was saying, 7.5-ish litres per 100 kilometres an hour. So that's around about 45 mpg. In today's modern world, that's pretty good. Cheap car to run, and the tyres, because you are going to need them, are not that expensive either. If you want to buy a tyre per corner, I would always recommend to buy two in the front or two in the back, or all four. For this car, the tyres are going to cost you, for a good brand, around about 250 euros. So again, that's quite sensible money. And when the brakes go, the pads, they're going to cost you about 100 euros to do the front ones, 100 euros to do the back ones. The back ones you'll probably only do every 3 or 4 years. The discs, maybe you're going to need them every 4 to 5 years, and that's going to cost you about 300 euros. As for a service, pretty much anywhere in the world, there's not that much that goes wrong. So if you change the oil, the filter, check the fuel filter, change all the lubricants in the engine, and I'm pretty sure that this car will run all year long for around about 250 euros of your money on a maintenance program. So a very good car, practical and cheap to run. And if you're curious to know how much I've paid for this car, 4,000 euros. We're going to have 1 or 2 little bits to do to it. We're going to get on the ramp. There's a slight clunk, in other words, the bottom joint gone on the passenger side. We're going to fix that. Bit of loose plastic. We're going to paint the front bumper. We're going to paint the bonnet. We're going to polish the lights up a little bit, give it a good clean inside and out. And this car will be on the market for 6,500 euros, which in Cyprus terms is a very reasonable car indeed. I'm going to say thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little episode, and hopefully you'll come back again and again. Hit that like, smash that subscribe. Doesn't cost you a single penny, but if you want to keep the channel afloat, why not go and hunt us down on that Buy Me a Coffee page, because that's where you could gift us that virtual coffee or two, and of course keep us lubricated on these rather hot days in downtown Cyprus. We're going to finish with a view of that beauty, and of course that beauty, which is that blue Mediterranean Sea. Thanks for watching, and